Hello, welcome back to the Beat Down Bandits podcast. I am Colin, and this is season 4, episode 1. So yeah, we are the fourth year of this podcast. Now, uh, elephant in the room. I have not recorded a podcast in like 3 months, something like that. I did one. I did probably a couple in November. I don't really know. I had plans for about 2 or 3 more before the end of the year, before taking like a holiday break and then coming back like mid-January. But things happened, and definitely got in the way of recording a lot of podcasts, and then also like just like YouTube videos, like for me, slowed way down at the end of the year, and they're still pretty slow right now. I'm not really like lacking content. I just don't have as much like in the reserves as I normally do, like just videos ready where I could put out stuff daily pretty much. I just don't have that right now, for a multitude of reasons. But first off, I think in like my last podcast, like in season 3 last year in 2022, I talked about like I had some like travel coming up from work, which I did. Traveled a couple different places in November, and when I got back, I had COVID. So wasn't a gigantic deal. My son and my wife had COVID like the previous month. So I was like kind of testing like leading up to that just to make sure I could travel. Everything was fine and never got it. But when I got back, like 2 days later, I was sick from my last time traveling in November. 2 days later, I was sick. Was sick for like a week or so, and and then had a lot of like other stuff going on at work, so I was gonna have like a slight delay anyway. And then we got into like Thanksgiving, and then shortly after Thanksgiving, my son got sick again, and then my daughter got sick. And this was not COVID, this was more like flu stuff. And it was all just like my son would get sick, and then like he was sick through like Christmas morning, and then my daughter got sick right after, and then my wife got sick, and then I got sick. And that kind of got us through like mid-January, by the time we all kind of finally were over that. But I still have this lingering cough, so I will probably cough several times during this podcast. Just a heads up there. Pretty much the more I talk or the more I laugh, the more I'm gonna cough. So that's pretty much the only thing that I have lingering is just that cough right there. So that's kind of what happened, and caused some the majority of those delays in getting this back up and going. Also, my daughter had some got diagnosed with some other issues and some other health stuff. Fortunately, doctors believe, and she's kind of got two issues kind of going on. That's two totally separate things. But both doctors believe, and she had to see two different specialists for two different things, that she's most likely going to grow out of both of those things within the next like 2 to 4 years, probably. But unfortunately, like she had to get put on different like types of medications, and we had them on there for like a month, and or had her on like one type for like a month or so, and we are trying to phase her out of like those meds, and then she started like passing out. Passed out at school, as a matter of fact, and obviously that caused like a little bit of a concern. So she's back on those meds, and she'll probably be so for a couple years or so, and then we'll try that again, and or at least maybe like 6 months to a year, and try to phase her off of them again, and see what happens. But obviously we'll kind of talk with her doctor on that one. So anyway, like that's just all the stuff that we've been dealing with. So I've definitely had like bigger priorities in my life, with all the stuff that's going on, with just health in my family. So family is obviously the most important thing. So this had to just kind of take a break for a couple months, which was honestly kind of a nice little break. That I didn't, there was no pressure to put this out. I really, really want it to keep going. Because one, it's just an opportunity for me to either just kind of talk about different things that's going on. I don't always talk about video games. 9 times out of 10 I am, but like sometimes like a TV show that I'm watching. Like I've done some on like a Cobra Kai, and I've had like you know, brackets, and gone through different websites, and did a thing on like a Wikipedia thing on Jonestown. Like I've done all sorts of like really unique and weird things on this podcast, and it's fascinating. So I this is just kind of the opportunity for me to not worry about having to play games, and can just kind of just talk about anything and everything. So that's kind of what this is. Unfortunately, it's like it's always hard to get guests on and other stuff. Like my end of year for 2022, like I really wanted to um uh have a guest on, and I will still do this at some point. And the guest was going to be my wife, who was going to come on, and we were going to do something fun and goofy with her. So we'll see. We'll maybe try to get back to that again. She still wants to do it. We just haven't had the time, or haven't been healthy enough to do it. So we'll try to get that done here soon. I don't want to say, I was going to say in like the next week or two. I'm not going to say that. I'm just going to say soon. So you can take that definition however you want. Okay, so anyway, that is like a very long-winded explanation of kind of where I've been, and what's kind of been going on in my life. Unfortunately, like not of it, like most of it's not been great, like health-wise, work-wise. Has just been extremely busy. I've taken on a lot of new challenges in the last year, a lot of new people under me in the last year, and I was taking like a leadership course and had to travel for that. Which was great, but that was taking up like most of my Fridays, and it was like a half a day class on Fridays. And that was 9 months long. So that was good to wrap up. We wrapped that up in November. That was one of the things I had to travel for in November. So I was out in Denver for that. But wrapped that up in November this past year. So I'm glad to kind of be through that. But I got a lot of other stuff coming up, and a lot of new things that's just taking away more time that I can record these things. So this is half of my podcast I end up recording during my lunch breaks. Sometimes it's like two, like this one. Like right now, I'm gonna split this up. I'm recording this during like this intro during my lunch break, and then I'm going to record some Apex stuff probably like right after work today. And I'm gonna talk about season 16 of Apex. So that's what we're gonna jump into today. And really just kind of dig through those patch notes of things that are coming up. I also want to talk about, like, I haven't haven't talked about this at all. I'm not like a big Harry Potter fan. But the new Hogwarts Legacy, I had pre-purchased it. I didn't get the deluxe edition, so I wasn't getting it like a few days early, but that comes out tomorrow, which is Friday the 9th or 10th, whatever day that is. So I'm definitely looking forward to that, and playing that. I know there's some drama behind it. I'm not partaking in that. I nothing with it. If I stream it or put videos out on it, I don't know what I'm planning on doing with it. I more or less just want to play it. There's no discrimination of any sorts or anything like that. It's my understanding there's actually also a trans person in the game. So there again, like no hatred or discrimination or anything like that to anybody. I just want to play the game, and that's really it. So okay, so today we're going to jump into Apex Season 16, the patch notes. Patch notes came out yesterday, I think, and kind of glance through those a little bit, so I have a basic understanding of kind of those concepts. But we're going to jump into that now. All right, so so this is the I guess official, and what is it called? Revelry? Why do I feel like that's so hard to pronounce? All right, so this is the season 16 patch notes released yesterday, which was been February 8th. So we're gonna go through this, talk about the new TDM, the legend class changes, things like that. So Revelry for Apex's fourth. Oh yeah, and speaking of which, happy birthday, Apex! 4 years. Also, I don't think I talked about this. TSM up there. Congrats to the TSM for their victory in the season one, the split one playoffs, the ALGS land, which is awesome. Those people that got to go to London or people local to that, I got to travel to it. Such an amazing event. I got to go last year to Raleigh, North Carolina for the ALGS. And that was such an amazing experience. It was such a fun few days. Um, and so yeah, a little jealous. I know it's a world thing, so hopefully we can get one back in the United States at some point here soon, maybe next year. So, but I get with the whole travel visa thing, it's so much easier to just have it all of them in one country. So I get that for London for this year. So we'll deal with it for the next season maybe. All right. So tons of shakeups coming to season 16. To me, it feels like it's going to be like a totally different game, like just a drastically different game because basically everybody's got new abilities at this point that they can do. Now, obviously, not like their tactical and ultimates and things like that, but more or less like that restructured um, class system and those abilities. So again, like I'm let's just jump into it. I was gonna talk about like nerfs and buffs that need to happen with like the specific legends, but you know what? We're just gonna jump right into it. So the legend classes, right? So this part to me is the part that seems like it's going to drastically change things. The other nice part, and I just happen to catch it right here, is the redo of the firing range, which is really awesome. But yeah, let's get into these classes. So rather than adding a new legend this season, we're revamping the legend classes, which to me is perfectly fine. I don't think we're at a spot where we need to have a new legend every single season. I wouldn't mind, every other season or something like that. That really shakes things up, gives them plenty of time. But we're getting the new gun, we're getting all these other drastic changes, so I think it's perfectly fine. So the legend class system divides into 5 different classes. Okay. So each of those classes is getting its own strategic gameplay ability for scanning and the ability to see this, carry extra ammo, whatever that case may be. So some of these, at first glance, again, I'm gonna have to play it, but at first glance, like some of them are like, I would rather avoid this ability than that one. But we'll talk about that when we get there. So I think what this is going to do with these different abilities is it's going to make a dramatic shift to the meta. And for somebody who has watched every second of every ALGS ever, 9 times out of 10, I'm just watching on YouTube. But I've watched every second, every battle, every fight, uh and the meta from season, the original season, the first ALGS, to where everybody was Pathfinder, Wraith, and Watson, to now where we have a pretty unique mix. We've seen some like the Octane metas, we've seen the Caustic meta, we've seen Lobo, we've even sprinkled in some Lifeline, we've seen a couple Ramparts, we've seen some Fuses. We've seen even up to like just this past ALGS. We even saw the Revtane meta. We've seen Crypto come in and out, and now obviously Seer is dominating in the scan meta. Bloodhound from a couple seasons ago. But now it's all about like that scan meta. You gotta have Seer. Pretty much every team has Seer nowadays. Every team has Valk. And every team's pretty much running like Horizon, because Horizon is obviously pretty goated as well. So we've seen so many different things. Oh, and you know what? The Newcastle Watson Valk, that was still used this season. I think 100 Thieves kind of took on that Newcastle one. I want to say like Cloud9 maybe even did it a little bit, and obviously they didn't qualify for the LGS, but I think even like when Newcastle came out, like they tried it a little bit. I think we saw some Catalyst as well, like Catalyst popped in there. a little. So there's such a unique mix to that meta. But obviously there's like a key 4 or 5 legends, and I think we're gonna see a dramatic shift to what those abilities are. Like the recon stuff doesn't seem to be quite as big. I think they're going to get, the Seer and Bloodhound are definitely getting nerfed. So that is going to have some play into it, for sure. But yeah, let's talk about this a little bit. So legends have been reorganized, which again, I love this screen right here. This is really cool. I don't know if this is just like the firing range selection, or how this aspect works right here, but all legends available to try in the firing range, which is perfect. So again, if you don't have all the legends unlocked, or you're new to the game and you want to try some people out, this is an awesome way to do that without investing coins or unlocking a new legend that you are never going to play. So that's really cool. So again, this reorganization will help players identify legends that play or support the team in a similar manner, and help them understand the new roles easier. The legend select screen has also been improved alongside the legend. Okay, so here we go. So here's our normal legend, like home screen or whatever, where they're sorted by that type, in that class, which again I think is really cool. So let's jump into these class perks. So we have Assault, Skirmisher, Recon, Controller, and Support. So this is where the meta shift is about to go crazy. I don't even know what to say or do, as far as the meta goes. I mean, I'm sure the pros will tell us what to do and what is definitely going to work. But every legend class now has an associated gameplay perk that grants the legends of that class access to new strategic options in the game. At casual levels of play, these new gameplay benefits will be fun new bonuses to engage with and empower decision making. At higher levels of play, a squad makeup now determines what gameplay elements that team will have access to and what they're leaving behind. So yeah, like with like 5 different classes and them all having special abilities, then I think that is going to uh really, like when I say like mess up the meta, or it's I don't even know. I don't know what to say, because like what do you do? Because you have to have like somebody's going to want to make sure, like, okay, we need that extra ammo, right? The skirmisher stuff, like those are like some even like top tier legends. Do we care about revealing the care packages? Like, to me, the skirmisher ability is the one that seems like kind of cruddy. The recon characters, you can use the survey beacons, but that doesn't give you the ring anymore. That gives you the enemy locations. So that's the recon ability aspect of those legends. That's pretty massive. I don't know, as far as like ALGS, I don't know how needed that is, but like ranked, I could see that being very, very massive. The controller, so they are now getting access to the ring and the ring console, and so these are like new beacons basically, on the map that they can go up to and scan, and that provides the next ring. So the survey beacons and these new ring consoles are have different abilities now that they can unlock. And then the support legends, they can craft banners and access blue bins. And I forgot to mention the assault. They also can access the red bins, which has smart bins, right? And then the support blue bins, like Lifeline's always had the ability to do. Now, other legends, the other support legends, right here, Lifeline, Gibraltar, Loba, and Newcastle can open those blue bins and get the extra stuff out of them. And it's supposed to be big meds, so bats and med kits. And then the assault red bins, it's a smart bin as well, which we've been exposed to since Stormpoint. So we got these smart bins that are supposed to give us stuff that we need specifically for our guns. I think if you don't have a gun and you open one of those red bins, it gives you a gun out of it. I think a gun pops out. So let's talk about these classes a little bit. The assault, combat, utility, and initiation. Excuse me, I've been dealing with this stupid cough for a while. All right, assault legends are mobile armories, or excuse me, assault legends are mobile armories, armed to the teeth and ready for battle. Their core patterns revolve around using their abilities to force opponents to make combat decisions that play to their advantage, opening them up for an assault. So I think, you know, between Bang, Ash, Fuse, Mad Maggie, and Revenant. So these folks can carry so their perks, they have the red bins. Okay, so they can open these up. It contains 4 smart loot attachments. So let's check out this picture. So it's got these 4 smart attachments, knowing somebody on your team needs these things. 1 loot slot is reserved for optics. So 1 spot is always going to be an optic, which is amazing. That's always what it seems like I struggle with. Chances for a magazine and hop ups are lower than other gear, which makes perfect sense. The magazines and the hop ups are obviously very, I don't know, I was going to say OP, but the most useful things for your gun. If the secret compartment is opened while no one on your team has a weapon will drop with 2 attachments for it. There we go. Men tier for all attachments is a rare item. So again, like that's a pretty amazing ability, to be honest. They can also carry more ammo per stack. Light, heavy, and energy ammo can stack 1 extra. Shotgun and sniper ammo has a reduced extra stack. So yeah, so you know, when you can get that ammo up a little a little heavier, or excuse me, a little bigger, that's extra ammo. I mean, that's pretty awesome ability, right? So again, like this is pretty massive. I think you almost want, like, meta wise, to have 1 of these on your team, just for that extra ability to carry light ammo, pretty much. All right, so the skirmisher. The skirmisher is the one that I'm like kind of like, you know, this ability seems like not so amazing. So again, these are the people that are good to get in and out of tight situations quicker than others. Can Skirmishers can gain early insight into the contents of a care package to ascertain its worth and make a play for it quickly if desired. So this is Wraith, Valk, Octane, Horizon, Mirage, and Pathfinder. So you've got some, you know, between the Wraiths and the Valkyries and even Octanes, Horizon, you got some big names in there of legends. But the ability is kind of cruddy, in my opinion. I am somebody who goes for every care package. If I see a care package, I'm going for it. It's so hard to turn down getting a Kraber, even if I miss every shot. It's so hard to turn down a Kraber, right? It's hard to turn down an RE45. It's hard to turn those things down. So I like going for care packages. So again, this ability, you can spot incoming care packages to see the highest value contents in them. They get revealed by looking at them for a few seconds. So you stare at it, and then it shows you, okay, from this far away, I've stared at it for a few seconds. There is a Kraber inside of it. That's kind of nice. It's an okay ability, but I almost feel like this should be 1 Legends passive or something like that. It's okay. So again, care packages are revealed by looking at them. They can be spotted in the air as they fall, or at their landing location if within that range. You can also see when the item has been taken by another team, it turns gray. So it'll turn gray up here, and can ping map icons or in-world icons for team. So I'm a little confused by what that means, but I don't know. Either way, it doesn't sound like this is the greatest perk. Getting a line of sight on a falling package or rotating quickly into range of the landing area will help them snag the info early. Additionally, they can see when/what high value weaponry has been snagged by others. So yeah, I mean, to me, it seems like kind of like the weakest ability. Recon. So this is enemy intel and tracking. So this is Bloodhound, Crypto, Seer, and Vantage. So they're pulling Valk. Valk's nerf is getting nerfed again. She's no longer going to be able to scan enemies when flying, which I don't know. I don't know why they're kind of. I mean, I don't know if they're just trying to shake up like the ALGS meta and get rid of the Vantage or the Valks on every team. I guess I don't know. So again, this ability and this perk for everybody. I mean, it even says on here. It's similar to Crypto's prior town takeover, the map room on Kings Canyon, where they can just scan and it shows all the enemies on the map. Anybody within a certain range, they get notified that they've been scanned, but they have to kind of be within like a POI of that location. Their perk, they can use these modified survey beacons. So you can see it's got like this new satellite, I guess, on the top of it. And they scan that beacon and it reveals all enemy positions on the map or mini map for 30 seconds. Enemies in the pulse range are alerted to the beacon use. So enemies around it, so like right here, so you can see like the pulse of it. So anybody in that pulse range knows they've been scanned. Anybody outside of that pulse range, they just get revealed. So you can see all the enemies on the map. So you see there's a couple teams over here, and there's a bunch of teams over here at Lava Siphon. So you can kind of see how that works. Obviously, for ranked, I think this is very impressive ability. You could very easily camp one of these with your team and basically just scan it. I don't know how often you can scan. I'm guessing once per round, maybe, or every couple minutes. I don't know what the cooldown time is on that ability, but that might be a little overpowered if people are constantly scanning. Now it's less than what Seer can do, and it's less than the constant Bloodhound scan. So I guess we'll kind of see. Controller. So this is area setup and control. This is Caustic, Watson, Rampart, and Catalyst. Controller legends place elements on the field to trap or fortify their positions. They want enemies to fight them on their own turf and excel at holding strong positions at the ring. Shifting circle knowledge to these ring consoles allow the legends who care most about setup to be responsible for knowing where they want to bunker down next. Unlike survey beacons, which are often located higher up, these new consoles can be found on more grounded areas in plazas and courtyards across the map. So I'm curious of kind of like how many there are. I don't think this is going to show it, right? So it looks like maybe it's about the same as what the survey beacons are. It probably is, just for like an equality type of a thing. But there you can kind of see the different locations of them, and then that shows you the next ring. So I like this. I think this is a very unique twist to this. It's definitely going to shift meta because most teams don't run a Caustic, a Watson, a Rampart, or a Catalyst. There's maybe 25% of teams that will have either like a Caustic or a Watson on them. Watson obviously being a little more popular right now. Yeah, maybe 20-25% of teams. I think that's with this ability. I mean, in ALGS, I think most teams are going to have a Watson now. You definitely want somebody on your team to have the ability to scan the beacon for high level ranked and professional. So I think you're going to see a massive increase in the Caustic and Watsons. Probably not so much in the Ramparts, maybe, and maybe some more catalysts here and there, but I guess we'll see. I think Watson tends to be a little bit more useful with her ultimate. Plus she can stack accelerants a little better. All right, so we got one more class is the support. We talked about this a little bit. Lifeline, Loba, Gibraltar, and Newcastle. These are team oriented. They look for opportunities to protect, recover, or resupply their allies. The new class system, the support role has been expanded and allows these legends to stock their team and keep them alive. As visible locations on the map, blue bins will provide key rotational options when in need of meds or survival items. Additionally, support legends can now recover ally banners, which is really flipping massive from crafting stations, even if the banner has expired, giving new options to get the team back into the game. So Lifeline, Loba, Gibraltar, Newcastle. Again, their perk is crafting banners, even if they've expired. So that's freaking massive, right? Like I will guarantee somebody somebody on my team that needs to run. We need to have one of these constantly, for sure. Um, it's so hard, and I feel like even in pubs, so many people like camp banners anymore. It's pretty ridiculous. So getting them back sometimes, if you're doing like a 1v3 and trying to wait it out, is hard. So this is pretty awesome that you can just craft the banners. They can be recovered from the crafter once crafting is complete. Crafted banner will contain all recoverable teammates. I also see this golden shotgun bolt in here. I don't know if anybody else caught that. All right, so there's your crafted respawn banner right there, which is pretty unique. Access secret compartments on the blue bins, so similar to the red bins and similar to what we've seen with Lifeline. But in here, it definitely seems like they're aiming more towards like a higher chance of bigger meds. So yeah, increased percentage of mobile respawn beacon, increased percentage of heat shields. The logic, where did I read like the bigger? Oh yeah, compartment has increased chance of large health kits, shield bats, and med kits. Compartment has unique survival item logic, meaning like if everybody's got the heat shields, then it's not going to put a heat shield out. So that's also pretty cool. This logic has an internal limit, cannot be repeated, and will not trigger if already carrying the item. So yeah, I feel like again a pretty useful ability. I think the biggest thing here, and people have been talking about this forever, especially with Loba, is being able to get the banners from a safe distance. I think being able to craft them is also pretty cool. Okay, so team deathmatch, and again, I think these classes, I think they have this at the bottom of everything on all classes, is they're going to continue to monitor it and see and make sure everything is hunky dory and make tweaks if they need to. So team deathmatch, again, this is some I think needed. I'm not a big team deathmatch person. Like if I want to do team deathmatch, I would play Call of Duty more. I enjoy the battle royale aspect. I enjoy the competitiveness of wanting to go for first. I'm not amazing at getting kills constantly. I've got this whole season, I have one 2000 damage game. I've got maybe 10 in my lifetime. So I'm not known for popping out a bunch of 10 15 20 kill games. That's just not going to happen. I'm too old for that anymore. I don't have the reflexes. It's just not going to happen anymore. So the team deathmatch stuff, I think, can bring in other people, and hopefully sneak them into the BR side of things. If I'm bored of BR or I'm struggling or just getting frustrated with it, this is a nice change of pace. It's also a nice change of pace, like just like warming up with this. I think that's what Arenas was also going to be like intended to do, was like, oh, it's a good warm up. But things like control into the game and things like that were, I thought, like great additives. Even like the gun game or gun run, whatever it's called. That was also really good. Again, like I'm not great at it, but it's a great way to warm up and get used to using different guns and getting that kind of fast twitch going a little bit. So I was definitely appreciative of it. They're still using like the control aspect where you kind of select your loadout of what you want, which is pretty cool. So this is 6v6 game modes. I think they have three maps that are kind of rotating in between. You kind of pick your loadout on spawn. You can swap your loadout or legend while respawning. Shields regen automatically. Again, just like control. They're thinking of maybe looking into this. 30 kills to win a round. And it's first alliance to win 2 rounds wins the match. Which I don't know how I feel about the round thing. I thought when I heard they were going to add a team deathmatch, like why don't they just do like the first to 50 kills or the first to 100 kills or something like that, and that wins you the game. But whatever, rounds are fine as well, I guess. You can swap loadouts in between rounds, and you can collect airdrops mid round for stronger weapons. So this is very similar to Control, but instead of what is Control, like 12v12, This is 6v6 and it's in rounds. And not having to obviously control 3 different points of the match. So, but yeah, there you go. You can kind of see you have allies and the enemies, how many rounds they've won, etc. So we're predicting a lot of players will use Team Deathmatch as a place to warm up for Battle Royale. I agree. That's probably what I would do. I did the same thing with Control when I'd get on when assuming Control was out at the time. I would play Control for 2, 3, 4 rounds, and then I jump into VR. We're aiming to see players have an avenue to practice certain guns they don't normally get much live firing with. And we'd like newer players to have a place to overcome some of the initial hurdles of approaching Apex's combat. This is a great place to do it because there's really no pressure. People are still a-holes on the internet though, so you're still going to get people like teammates who are like frustrated with you if you're not getting enough kills. Whatever, tell them to bite it. So yeah, I'm curious how this goes. Mixtape, I'm more or less probably the biggest part I'm looking forward to as far as like different modes is a mode that's constantly rotating. So between Control, Gun Run, and whatever other LTMs are rotating, I'm kind of looking forward to that. So if they're constantly rotating that through that, then that's pretty exciting. So it works similarly on how maps rotate in Battle Royale. Every 15 minutes, the mixtape playlist will rotate to a curated list of modes and maps to play. Only Team Deathmatch will be available during the season's launch for the first 3 weeks, and then mixtape will launch following that with TDM, Control, and Gun Run. So it's going to just start with Control and Gun Run, and then after 3 weeks, it's going to add TDM into that mix. So you can just play mixtape and just it'll rotate through those game modes. I mean, it's a pretty cool, unique aspect and change. And as long as they kind of keep it, I think I don't see why we can't add different modes into that. There's like the flash points and all those other ones. Like I don't know. There's been a ton of game modes over the years, and sometimes we've only seen it once and then just disappears for years. So I don't know. So we'll see how that goes. What did I miss here? Oh, Twitch rivals thing. All right, so the Nemesis, meet the Nemesis. It's a new energy class assault rifle that fires 4 rounds per burst with a ramping burst delay that decreases the time between bursts and simulates a fully automatic weapon. The Nemesis is guaranteed to ruin the day of at least one legend next match. So what I've heard from people who got early access to season 16 is you pick up the Nemesis immediately, as often and as quickly as you can, because it is going to get nerfed hard. It is being released extremely overpowered. A lot like Seer was when Seer came out. They wanted it to just be like blow you away, like you have to do this. So you have to pick up the Nemesis before it does, because you will just obliterate and ruin people's day by using this gun. So the burst, so from what I hear is the fully automated or the fully automatic aspect of it is it feels fully automatic, and not so much with like the burst. So it fires this 4-round burst, so between the Hemlock and the Prowler, but it's with the energy, and it's a lot closer to fully automatic. So it's really not burst right now, but I'm guessing it's going to get slowed down and damage decreased. And apparently there's like no recoil, or very easy to control recoil. So I think it's definitely worth picking up immediately, because yeah, it's going to get nerfed. And then this orientation matches. I was a little worried when I heard about this originally, because they're introducing bots onto the game. I'm like, no, like let's not do that. Like, I don't think Apex is dying off where we need bots. So that was my original panic. But it sounds like it's only for brand new players, and the games are 100% bots. So you drop in with actual AI bots into a game. You play solo, or you can go in with your friends and you take out bots before joining the regular matchmaking queue. So every legend has was level 1 once. Drop in and start learning to be legendary. So it's giving like new players like oh my God, like I can't jump into Apex now. Like there's too many amazing players out there and I'm just going to get obliterated. So this gives people that opportunity to drop in and actually be competitive in this first handful of games before moving out of orientation and going into the regular games. So it's my understanding also that is going to be like exclusively on Kings Canyon. So probably like season 1-ish, Kings Canyon, I would guess as well, and let people play in there, and then they get moved out of orientation into the regular game. So there we have it. There's obviously a lot of more like legend patch notes and the full patch notes, like the tweaks and everything and the numbers. Those patch notes are still yet to come. So looking forward to kind of really seeing those. Right now rumors are Wraith's Portal is going longer. Pathfinder's Zipline is going longer. Obviously Seer kind of getting nerfed, Valk getting nerfed a little bit, Bloodhound getting nerfed a little bit. Some buffs to like Lifeline. What else did I hear? I feel like there's another buff to somebody else and I'm just forgetting. So yeah, so looking forward to like those final ones, but this is a great sneak peek into what we're getting for season 16. Let me know your thoughts. I'm very curious to hear what people think about like some of these dramatic changes. My prediction, like I said, was like I feel like this is going to be a totally different game, and I'm very excited about it. So, thank you everybody for watching and or listening to today's podcast. Again, I am back. Hopefully, I can keep this going a little bit. I'm probably not. I'm probably going to more or less just do like maybe one or two maybe podcasts a month. It's not going to be as much as what I was doing last year. So. The last 2 years I really grinded pretty hard on the podcast, and it was super easy. It was super fun, but I just like I said, I didn't have as much time to really do it as much as I wanted to. So anyway, but we're back now, and we will talk to you all later. Thanks.